Right now we have our presenters. I'm gonna let them introduce themselves, and we'll get started. So everyone, if you want to introduce yourself, please feel free to.
I'm Hannah. I am a licensed clinical social worker, and I am one of the mental health specialists here on campus. When we go back to on-campus learning, not the distance learning, I am here at main campus. This is my office on main campus, and I serve students on the main campus.
My name is Karen Johnson. I am a licensed clinical social worker also, and I am the other mental health specialist on campus. I actually serve the Chico and Glenn Center when we are in person. So otherwise, I'm serving whoever. So I think we have the general pool going on right now. So.
My name is Jordan Fraser. I'm a nurse practitioner by training. I'm the director of the Student Health Clinic. The Student Health Clinic is on the main campus and functions pretty much like any other doctor's office does.
Awesome. Thank you three for sharing, and I guess it's time to get started. So I actually have the presentation on, so I will share my screen and.
Well, hold on, Jordan. Do you want to give a spiel first about just the Student Health Clinic?
Sure. I don't have a real long presentation. Student Health Clinic is over behind the Arts Building in parking lot 3. Under normal circumstances, we would be available for walk-in appointments or scheduled appointments for basically any kind of health needs that somebody might have. People getting sick, people getting hurt, mental health issues, some chronic issues like high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, things like that. We can manage all of those things. I'm the primary provider at the clinic. We do have 2 other providers that are here periodically, but most of the time, if you came to the Student Health Clinic and needed help, you would be seeing me. During the pandemic, we've switched to a primarily online modality to deliver care. We use a Zoom platform that is secure and private. It meets all of the HIPAA privacy law requirements, in that it can't be recorded. Nobody else can get in and see the room. It's just as confidential as if we were sitting in the room together. Obviously, this does provide us some limitation on what I can treat. It's kind of hard to look down somebody's throat and in their ear through a webcam, but we're doing the best that we can with that. We are available in person for folks who aren't actively sick. So if somebody has mental health needs that they need to sit and talk to me and would prefer to do that in person, we can certainly do that. We're doing some physicals. So for instance, if you were in nursing school and you needed your nursing school physical, we're doing those in person. If you need your diabetes checked, we can do that in person. But anybody who's actively sick, we're asking them to make a virtual appointment, and doing the best that we can with that. The reasoning being is that if I end up getting exposed to COVID and can't continue to come to work, the whole clinic ends up shutting down because I'm usually the provider that's here. That's kind of what we have going on right now. It's not a very happening place out here on campus. Normally it is. We do provide flu shots every fall. The state issues us a certain allocation of flu shots. Those are available for free until I run out. And I anticipate I should be getting those within the next couple of weeks. And we always send out announcements when those become available. And so that's something that we can provide to people who want them. Anybody have any questions for me? All right. Thanks all.
Yeah, would you like me to share the PowerPoint now?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Okay.
There we go. Okay.
Cool. So Karen and I just wanted to touch base with anyone who's interested about the mental health services that we provide here at Butte College, and just a little bit more about mental health in college students. So next slide. So here is just some infographics about the prevalence of mental health within college students. And again, mental health doesn't mean that there's something wrong with anyone. It's just something that everyone experiences, and it's really important to take care of. And when you're in college, especially doing it in a new way of learning, it can be very challenging, and the stressors are real. And we just want to make sure that students are honoring that what they're feeling and experiencing is fairly normal, but it doesn't have to be debilitating for you. Some of the signs of stress or depression or anxiety that people often experience would be having difficulty sleeping or sleeping more than they normally would be, feeling a loss of motivation to get their work done, or not enjoying things that they previously enjoyed doing. Changes in your eating patterns, whether you're starting to overeat or undereat due to stress. Becoming aggravated, angry, snapping with loved ones, family, and friends. Those are all signs that there may be some depression or some anxiety that you're experiencing, or feeling overly worried. And we can help you with any of that. So if you're experiencing any of that and it's making you feel a little bit uncomfortable, or something that you don't want to deal with anymore, feeling like you're having trouble managing that on your own, then please reach out to Karen and I.
I think one of the big ones too is that lack of focus too. That's one of the big ones that gets noticed fairly early on by students, is having to read and reread and reread, and just not being able to hang on to what you're reading because of being overwhelmed and stressed. So just kind of tune into that and realize that maybe you could use some new coping skills. And that's what we're here for. So, so if you look at that chart, I mean, it talks about the prevalence, like 50% of college students experience some depression, and 44% talk about anxiety, experiencing anxiety or being overwhelmed and stressed. So, I mean, some of the biggest contributors and that are probably the most lacking in college students are sleep, or the lack of sleep, and good nutrition, right? I mean, that's where college students probably suffer the most, because they're staying up super late, or they're not taking time to eat healthy, and also tending to self-medicate possibly with alcohol and drugs. So all putting you more at risk for falling deeper into those other symptoms. So, Hannah, anything else on this slide?
No, not on this slide, but we do want to just share then with you guys some ways that would be beneficial that you can do to help with some of these symptoms that you may experience. These are things that can be done with or without our support, but of course we are always here to support anybody with what they need.
Right. So the next slide talks about Christmas, if you want to go ahead and thank you. So this is something that I fall back on a lot. It's an acronym, ACEs. So if you take anything away, I want you to remember ACE, A-C-E. It's an acronym that we could all benefit from in incorporating into our everyday. So these are, naturally occurring in our body are these neurotransmitters that we naturally produce that are natural anti-stress, and antidepressants. So in order to produce those, we have to do certain activities. So we want to get that feeling of well-being, and these ACEs will help you reach that end goal, okay? So the A stands for achievements. So that feeling of being successful and achieving things will, we took off what that releases. Okay, so that releases dopamine. So if you are successful and have that feeling of achievement, you will release dopamine. And the way I like to tell the students to get those feelings of achievement are to start your day out, just make a list of what you want to accomplish in your day. And physically, visually check those things off as you accomplish them. I mean, we all start our day with things we need to get done, right? So even if it's an obvious thing, write it down on your list and check it off. And at the end of the day, you look at your list and you look at all the things you accomplished and allow yourself to feel successful in what you accomplished. And that will trigger that release of dopamine. And also, when you have those purposeful activities, that's a release of serotonin also. So you're going to get those feelings of well-being that will combat the depression and the anxiety that try to creep in. All right, so that's the A for achieve. We all like to feel successful, so that's for that. So the C is for connect. So as humans, we are made for relationships, right? So we feel better when we feel connected to others. And when we connect with others, we produce naturally oxytocin, which is another neurotransmitter. So every day, and I know right now we're isolated more. We're sitting in front of our computers. Do you guys all have roommates for the most part, or yeah? So at least you're seeing people within your homes or apartments, and you can have meaningful conversations, make eye contact. If you happen to live alone or whatever, if you go for a walk, with half of our faces covered nowadays with masks, at least try to make eye contact with people and make a connection on that level. But we feel better when we connect and we feel like we're a part of something bigger. All right, so, and we need that as humans. We need to feel connected to others. So that's the C. So then the E is for enjoyment. And we all know enjoyment, exercise, endorphins, right? That's the last one. So that's the other neurotransmitter. So do something every day in your day, incorporate something that you enjoy, that feeds your soul, that makes you feel good. Okay, so whether it's your morning cup of tea or coffee, or your book that you read for pleasure versus all your school stuff, going for a bike ride or a walk, or whatever you do, just make sure that you incorporate something that you enjoy into your day that makes you feel good about being alive, about being where you are, okay? So these are all things that will, at the end of your day, will promote that feeling of well-being and help you. This is like a natural defense that we all have and can all accomplish to combat those feelings of depression and anxiety that try to creep in when we feel overwhelmed and stressed, naturally, with our deadlines and assignments are due and the stress of tests. So, all right, any questions about those? All right.
So the next slide is a grounding activity for anxiety that I really like to use, and I like to share this with my clients. This is something that can be done anywhere, as we experience anxiety everywhere. And sometimes anxiety will be focused around school, like some of your assignments or homework, teachers, whatnot may be causing the anxiety or be related to the anxiety, but then we will experience that feeling anywhere we're at. So this is something that can be done anywhere. No one has to know that you're doing it. You could be sitting on the bus, you could be eating your lunch, anywhere this can be done. So it works on the 5 senses. And the way that this is very helpful is it brings us into the here and now. Oftentimes with anxiety, we start, I like to call it future tripping. We start really worrying about the things that we can't control, the things that may be happening, that aren't happening, all these things that just aren't in the here and now. And then we really get wrapped up in our head around it. And so this activity brings you right back to right now, which helps slow that heart rate, calm down, and focus on what we can control. So it focuses on our senses again. So if we can identify, or you can identify, again, with no one even has to know that you're doing it, 5 things that you can see, and you just tell them to yourself. So if I were to do it right now, I can see some white nail polish, a yellow water bottle, speakers, scissors, my phone, my computer. I think that's 5. 4 things you can feel or touch, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. And again, really being intentional and detailed about the things that you're doing. So like I said, a yellow water bottle, not just a water bottle, because those details help us bring ourselves back into the present, the here and now. It helps us to refocus our energy from that future tripping that we're doing to what we can control here in the moment. Do you have any questions on this simple activity? Okay, cool. Next slide, please.
So these are some helpful apps on your phone that you can actually download. They have some plans that you can actually pay for, but they also have quite a few meditation scenarios that you can do that are free. So if you're having a hard time falling asleep, or you just need to relax at certain times, yeah, Christmas, do you want to answer that one? You want to wait till the end, or if she needs to leave right now, just answer? Because she can watch the video, right?
Yeah, Lillian, it sounded like everything was being recorded and would be posted soon.
Yeah, so these will all be posted on the Butte College Welcome Center homepage when these are all completed.
There you go. Sorry. Anyway,
and please be safe, Lillian.
Yeah. So anyway, these are meditations. So I don't know, has anybody done these meditations before? Any meditations, or anybody do that on a regular basis? I know I've looked at these before, and you can do really short ones, or and some of them are a little more involved, but there's kind of a variety of them. So these are good ones. And then, the other things that we don't have on here, there's the basic breathing exercises, the box breathing, which is the 4 count, 4 by 4. So it's 4 counts in, hold for 4, 4 counts out, hold for, and then 4 counts before you breathe back in. Super easy. Just being mindful of your breath. Basic coping skills. What's our next one?
So our next slide, we just listed some crisis numbers and other resources that are available either locally or nationally. If we are not available, if it's the weekend or after hours, please utilize one of these phone numbers. They're here to help you. They're free. Just good resources to have. Okay, sorry, I was reading the chat box. And And then lastly, we just wanted to throw out our information in terms of where we're located. I know Jordan had mentioned it. The mental health services on the main campus are out of the Student Health Center. So for anybody to make an appointment with us, whether it's via Zoom or when classes resume in person, whether it's at the main campus, Glenn Center or Chico Center, you would call the health center's main line, which is the 895-2441 phone number, and talk to one of the ladies at the front desk, make an appointment, and get on one of our schedules. They will then email a Zoom link out while we're in this remote learning for you guys to click, and when it's your appointment time, we're here. And that's how you would make an appointment for physical health services with Jordan as well. You'd call that main number to make an appointment.
Yeah, is there any slides? I know maybe go back to the apps slide, maybe just, yeah, that one. If anybody needs that information, like Robin might. And then I think those are the actual pictures that come up with the app. So, and then does anybody need to see the phone numbers or the other slides? Just.
And I just want to say for everyone that's on here, I know, I'm sure people have said this in other sessions that you've been in, but this is new for everybody. And so in terms of the remote learning, the pandemic, right? Like we haven't experienced this in our lifetime. So the anxiety and other stressors that you're feeling, they're real. Everyone deals with things differently, but if you're dealing with it and feeling more stressed out than maybe your roommate or your sibling or your friends, that's okay. And to just honor where you're at with it. And if you need the support, we're all here to help you. And one of the things that I forgot to mention is, and Jordan can maybe touch on this a little bit more, Karen and I cannot prescribe medications, but Jordan can. And so if talk therapy is something that you're interested in, but you want a little bit of medication help, we can set you up with Jordan to talk about some medications that may be helpful for some of the things that you may be experiencing, whether it's anxiety, depression, PTSD, and whatnot.
At a discounted rate?
I'm sorry?
Would it be at a discounted rate?
The prescriptions?
Yes.
I'll let Jordan touch on that.
Yeah, so if I send a prescription over to a pharmacy, it would be whatever the pharmacy chooses to charge and whatever the insurance will pay for. I do have a small formulary of medications here that I can get, a couple of different mild antidepressants. I don't have any controlled substances, so no sleeping medications, anti-anxiety medications, things of that nature. The medications that I can get on formulary, I sell for what I can get them for. So usually it's less than $10 a month for a full month's worth of medications. So especially for people who don't have any kind of insurance, that's a good deal. For people who have insurance that has a really high copay, it's also a good deal. For people who have good health insurance, it's usually not a great deal for them, but I'll help people through that if they have questions and they're not quite sure. I can usually figure it out pretty quick which way is going to be the cheapest. As far as prescribing medications goes, if somebody needs a refill on whatever, their antidepressant that they've been taking for years, no problem. If they need a new antidepressant, no problem. Usually if I have to switch between 2 or 3 antidepressants because something's not working or there's lots of side effects, I might get a referral out to one of the community psychiatrists to get some information. In the same way as if I had somebody come in with high blood pressure and we tried 2 or 3 medications and I couldn't get that blood pressure under control, I'd ask a cardiologist to give me some advice. It's the same way I'd send out to the people who have more training in that than I do to give me some advice on what medications to use. And then we could come back here and I could continue to prescribe that. I don't prescribe a lot of controlled substances out of here. Again, that's our sleeping medications, our anti-anxiety medications like Xanax and Valium and things like that. If something terrible is going on and you need 5 or 10 pills to get you through, no problem. I can take care of that. But for somebody who feels like they need these medications every day, all day, for months and months and months, I'm not the guy for that. That's a little outside of the scope of what I can take care of out of this clinic.
Thank you.
But then we're really good at referring.
Yeah, I'll make referrals. I make sure that they get out and follow through. And of course, if I make a referral out for something, that doesn't mean you can't come back and see me for that same thing again or for something else. It just means that I need some advice from somebody else.